Hello, my name is Claudio, and in this video we're going to carry out assessments and testing for different sports on a healthy person. The first assessment is a postural analysis. The purpose of a postural analysis is to identify the relationship of different joints and body parts to each other. With this assessment, we will be able to see the correlation between the injury and posture. To start the assessment, the athlete must stand in a relaxed position with shorts or tights or any tight clothing or as little clothing as possible to easily see the body. The athlete will stand in different viewpoints for the assessment. We will first check the shoulder if it's symmetrical. We can see this from the front or back view. We can see that the athlete's right shoulder is slightly higher than the left. Then we check if there's any roundness of the shoulders, which is viewed from the front or side. We can see there that there's not much internal rotation of the shoulders. Then we'll look at the thoracic spine alignment observed from the side. We have to see if the athlete has an increased or decreased thoracic kyphosis. The athlete has an increase, as we can see that the neck is going slightly more forward and the spine is more round. Then we check for the lumbar lordosis, which is also from the side. If we check if there's an increased lumbar lordosis or a flattened lumbar spine. But we can see in the athlete that it's a normal lumbar lordosis. Then at the back view, we have to check for any spine curvature. This is check to see if there's any spinal scoliosis. With the shirt on, it's very difficult for us to determine if this athlete does have spinal scoliosis. The next check we have to see is if the hips are symmetrical. We can also observe this from the front or back view. As you can see, we can't really see if the hips are level because of the shirt that is so long, as it should be advised for the athlete to wear tight clothing. We also need to check the foot position. We observe this from the front to back. We need to know if the feet are pronation, supination, or in a neutral position. We can see that the athlete's foot is more in a neutral position.
Okay, so the next test is called sit and reach test for a marathon runner. This test will test your hamstring flexibility as well as your lower back. So to start the test, we're going to first sit upright against the wall with our head and the back against the wall, feet straight with the feet touching the ground, and we're going to have a bench or something up against the feet to measure. So to set up, we usually have a sit and reach bench, but we don't have now. But we first want to measure the distance for 0. So she's gonna extend her hands as far as possible with keeping the back against the wall, and we're just gonna measure a 0 marker. And then when she goes, she's gonna reach as fast as she can without bouncing and just trying to reach. So you want to overlap your hands and reach as far as possible. Like you want to go as far, but this to allow your back to come off forward and go as far as possible. And then that's how you do the test. You'll do the test 3 times and relax. So you'll do the test 3 times, and the best score is your measurement to work out your flexibility. The only disadvantage on this test is that your lower back is heavily involved and doesn't test your hamstrings that much. Okay, so the next test is a functional test for a swimmer, and we're going to do a shoulder mobility test. This test is beneficial for them because the majority of the movement for swimming is shoulder movement. So this test, we start off by measuring the athlete's hand. And okay, we're going to measure the hand first. So this is 18.5 centimeters. So now to do the procedure of the testing, she's going to have her hands in her fist, and she's going to, one hand's going to go over and the other hand's going to go under. You're going to try to touch as close as possible, and then we're going to measure, just relax. We're going to measure from knuckle to knuckle the distance. And then we're going to work over scoring from 0, 1, and 2. 0 is if the measurement is more than 1.5 of the hand lengths. 1 is if it's within 1.5, and then a 2 is the measurement is within a hand length. So now we're going to measure. You're going to go as far as possible, and you're going to measure knuckle to knuckle. So this measurement was 17 centimeters, which means that it was less than a hand length, which is 17.5, which means she gets a score of 2. The higher the score, the better the results. Then we're going to do the other side, the same thing. We're going to measure as far as possible. This side is 22.5 centimeters, which means she scored a 1. You can see that her left shoulder has more mobility than her right shoulder. So the next test we're going to do is a strength and power test for cricket players. So the test we're going to do is a throw power test to test your power and your accuracy. You can also do a 1 rep max for bench press for cricket player, but for more specific, sport specific, we're going to do a throw. So we're going to test it, we're going to have to use a normal cricket ball, but today we're just going to use this ball just for the testing. And then we're going to place a marker, so we're going to use a cone here. I can't see the cone right now, but we're going to use a cone. And you can allow the athlete to have a run up for about 10 meters if they want. So the whole test is just to throw as far as possible, and you get 3 tries. So you can throw as far as possible. With enthusiasm in the throw. You throw as far as possible, and you're going to measure the distance where the ball first lands. And then the best score is the test that we get. The disadvantage of this is that it can be time consuming, and you need 2 or 3 assistants so the test can run very smoothly. Okay, the next test is Illinois agility test, which is for soccer players. So this test is to assess speed, going as quickly to the next cone as possible, as well as agility in quick turns, as soccer players require a lot of turn-ins in their games. So we're going to demonstrate the drill now, so I'm going to just help the assistant. So we're going to first start at the cone down there, and then we'll run up to the second cone, and we're going to turn down. We should go around the cone. We're going to turn to this, come to the orange cone, and we're going to zigzag. We're going to zigzag, and then we turn around and go zigzag again. And then we'll come to this cone here, and we'll turn around the cone, and then you go to the last cone, and that's where the drill ends. Okay, so the next test is a Broncos test, and to set up this test we're going to have 4 cones, a starting marker, which is where my assistant is now, and then 3 other cones. The distance should be 20 meters, 40 meters and 60 meters. This test is beneficial for rugby players, as in most of the games there's a lot of turn-ins, but also they require their cardiovascular system to be very good in their sport. So you want to test these athletes by making them do 5 sets and do it as quickly as possible, and then their time that they get is their score.